Some people don't want to evolve, but they want access to your evolution.
There is a reason so many women get the big gesture. The ring, the proposal, the commitment, the righting of wrongs, the change of behavior, or newfound momentum to do the right thing after you choose to pull away from a relationship and work on yourself. As y'all can see, today we are using Mariah the Scientist and Young Thug as a catalyst for this discussion, because did y'all see that proposal? Why did he grab her like that? As y'all know, the couple has been together since 2021 and remained in close contact while Young Thug was jailed awaiting trial on RICO charges. Once the trial began, Mariah was frequently seen attending court proceedings, and of course, we all know she visited him in jail. Y'all know all of those conversations that they were having that hit the internet, but between pretrial detention and the trial itself, he spent roughly 2 years incarcerated. The couple reportedly broke up briefly following the rapper's release after he admitted to communicating with other women while incarcerated, according to Hip Hop DX. They later reconciled after Young Thug issued a public apology on social media. Now, while we did watch the whole thing go down with Mariah and Young Thug at his Hometown Hero benefit concert, I know a lot of people, including myself, had a little kiki about the whole thing, because it gave Cardi and Offset 2.0. Very much last resort, very forced for the sake of optics. I would even say career revival on Jeffrey's end, and even a pinch and a hint of something I'd like to call destiny swapping. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, what is destiny swapping? Some people see it as a spiritual practice, while others see it as something far less mystical, more like a series of psychological behaviors that are manipulative and intentional. And on the spiritual side, people talk about energy transfers or soul ties, and the idea that being connected to the wrong person can literally reroute your path. And on the psychological side, it's described as attachment or dependency and emotional survival, where someone learns how to benefit from your growth without developing their own. Either way, the outcome looks the same. One person rises and the other slowly disappears into the role of a support system. And most people don't realize it's happening because it doesn't show up as abuse. Most times it shows up as love, loyalty, and holding someone down. You encourage them, help them organize their plans, pray for them, calm them down, motivate them, emotionally manage their feelings along the way. And suddenly, their career starts moving. Their business grows. They look more focused. People might even say, wow, you changed your life. Now, that alone isn't destiny swapping. Healthy love can inspire growth. Destiny swapping is when someone only has purpose while they're connected to you. And the moment you step back, everything kind of falls apart. It's when they can't stay disciplined unless you're managing them. Their stability depends on your sacrifice. Your dreams and momentum slow down while theirs gets bigger. One person's life is moving forward, but it's being powered by the person who's slowly disappearing in the process. So with that said, support builds both people. Destiny swapping builds one by draining the other. Now, because we're using Mariah and Young Thug's moment as a reference point, I did want to disclaim that nobody knows what's going on behind closed doors, right? Their relationship could absolutely be balanced, healthy, perfect. But from the outside looking in, I think it is important to recognize that there are certain dynamics that show an imbalance, right? And how it can mirror what some people, including myself, would say is destiny swapping, especially as, discussions around who really benefits from marriage and partnerships keep growing in the collective these days. And objectively, we all need each other. But I think that women more often find themselves slipping into roles of responsibility, emotional labor, self-erasure, sacrifice without realizing it. And a lot of it comes from dynamics such as destiny swapping. She was on her purpose when y'all met, doing all of the right things, taking care of herself. But somewhere along the way, her focus shifted from her own momentum to maintaining the relationship. And that can be really dangerous in the long run. It wastes time, it shifts her emotional, mental, and physical path. And sometimes later down the line, it creates bitterness, especially if she never becomes fully loved, supported, or provided for after spending years propping up someone who should have carried their own weight. And when we talk about women being nurturing, right, it's important to make a clear distinction between what nurturing a situation looks like and overdoing your part in a situation to the point that you lose yourself. Now, when it comes to men like Young Thug, the pattern is obvious. They assign you a role as the emotional regulator, the guide, the support system, the caretaker, but they're not matching your energy. And, whether it's privately, they're not matching your energy and moving with integrity, rarely handling you with the same care you offer them. Of course, most of the time, whatever it is that they do for you, it's for the public and for that validation or whatever. But okay, you might peep game, and the moment you wake up from that fantasy, detach and refocus on yourself, they reappear publicly, on stage, at your place of work, dropping to one knee in front of the world. And with that, cornering you into a response where saying yes or no both come with consequences. It's giving very much strategy disguised as redemption. Not to say the love isn't there, but it's rooted far more in ego, power, validation, and manipulation than in something genuine. And in moments like this, my direct follow-ups are, if no one was watching, is this still love? 2, am I nourished in this relationship or in this partnership, or am I managing survival? Whether it's their survival or my own survival. 3, am I a person here being treated as such, right? Being respected as such. And then lastly, if I leave, do they grow or do they collapse? Now, at the end of the day, looking from the outside in, if they are happy, Mariah and Young Thug, then great, awesome, But between me and the girls, I can't help but hope that she's moving strategically, using this moment to elevate her brand and her music rather than getting swept up in the fantasy, right? I could be wrong, but it doesn't read that way to me when it comes to her. She's very, she gives very much hopeless romantic. I know a lot of people online say that it's giving bird brain, and it does sometimes, because it's like you see all of the things that have happened and then you still allow yourself to be used, essentially. Mind you, had she said no on stage after all that has happened, the drama and the, footage and all these things that came out about how he really felt about her. So all of the embarrassment as well that she was put through, it would have been completely justified because it would have been her taking her power back and choosing herself over someone who is clearly using her and her momentum and her, her energy as a battery pack in a way. More often than not, it ends in a cycle of disrespect, continued manipulation, games, and feeling stuck, eventually regretting not listening to the warnings along the way and seeing the red flags and, everything in between. Now, before I do close, I wanted to say, when someone only finds purpose beside you, what does that look like? Some people never build identity on their own. Instead, they borrow yours and wear it so seamlessly that it looks like it was always theirs. They avoid discipline, they avoid accountability, they avoid truly getting to know themselves, what they want in life, what they're capable of, and what they actually need to work on. So instead, they pursue people who are already doing the work. They function only as long as you stay, emotionally managing the situation, while never actually adopting growth themselves or learning to pour back into you the way that you pour into them, right? Because their life isn't powered by purpose. It's being powered by you. And the moment you pull back, suddenly they're motivated, they're planning, they're driven, and they perform beautifully in crisis. It always gives very much reactive versus proactive. And if you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. But eventually that becomes the pattern you start to notice over time. I think Mariah and Young Thug's situation is a little bit different. Young Thug has been, or is, the bigger artist in their dynamic. He's been famous longer than Mariah has. However, I can say that, it's not a secret that his music and I think his relevance is at a decline right now, and hers is more on, an up and up. So it makes sense that he would attach himself to, her for the sake of momentum and, sustaining some sort of social relevance, kind of like how Cardi B and Offset did their whole thing. And that was very clear and obvious as well. And we see how that turned out. But in closing, real partnership, I think, requires that both people feel inspired to become their best selves. And again, that looks like, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, as well as, leaving ego at the door, operating with a certain level of integrity and honesty and humility, and also being intentional about your own time, life, purpose, right? And not, feeding off of someone else's purpose, their momentum. If only one person is truly growing and energy is being borrowed by the other person, the relationship is going to fall short. Imagine how much healthier and faster and more fulfilling a relationship can become when both people are aligned in their purpose and actively doing the work at the same time. Destiny swapping is borrowed momentum disguised as love. And when you finally see the difference, you stop choosing relationships that look good and start choosing ones that actually give you life. With that being said, thank you guys for tuning into the Conscious Bae channel. I'm your host, The Conscious Bae, and again, Happy New Year. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like, a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see y'all on the next video. Peace and love.